know what they're chanting out there? I just got it. They're chanting one more vote to save our lives. They're chanting one more vote to save our lives.
A Trump-friendly town in Nebraska is feeling the weight of the president's economic policies. Joining us, MS Now national reporter Rosa Flores, who's in Lexington, Nebraska. What exactly is going on there?
You know, Katie, have you ever been in a place where you can just feel the pain and the anxiety? That's what it feels like being here in Lexington, Nebraska. This is a town of under 11,000 people, and 3,200 will lose their jobs on January 20th when the Tyson plant in town closes. People have described to me what's happening here by using the words catastrophe, crisis, the feeling of being collateral damage, hurt, anxiety, agony. I mean, just such powerful words because of what's happening here.
Does anybody care about Nebraska? That's the question that's going around TikTok right now. And to that, I respond with two questions. Did Nebraska care about anybody else? And does Nebraska care about Nebraska? Because you see, God helps those who help themselves. And when you Nebraskans walked into the voting booth and overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump to be president, and now you're feeling the effects of that, this isn't I told you so. This is an FAFO. And I know there are Nebraskans out there that voted for Kamala Harris and did not fall into the trap of Donald Trump. Unfortunately, there were not enough of you. And now the rumors, and I'm having a hard time substantiating some of this, but the vibe that's going around is that Nebraska basically looks to be bankrupt in about 6 months because of the undocumented migrants that are being deported, or just the fact that undocumented migrants make up a large portion of their state and workforce on the farms. And they're not showing up to work because they're now afraid they're going to be deported. So Nebraskans, especially farmers in Nebraska, did you think any further than the front of your face? Did you think any further? Or were you just blinded by hate? And now people are coming out here asking, what about Nebraska? Do you guys care about Nebraska? No, I've already answered it, but the short answer is no. No, we don't. We don't care about Indiana, where I'm from. We don't care about Kentucky losing their bourbon up in Canada. We don't care about Jack Daniels in Tennessee. We don't care about the auto industry in Michigan. Are we all going to feel this? Yes, it's going to hurt. The disruptions in the food supply from Nebraskan farmers is going to hurt everybody. We are not immune, but we can't care. We can't care. We have no more sympathy to give. You guys had a chance. We spent our time telling you, talking to you, talking at you because you wouldn't listen. You decided to vote for Donald Trump, and here he is undoing your entire workforce. And when you lose your family farm of 150 years to a private company who's going to buy up all the land when you guys can't pay your bills, that's the state of America we're going to be in because you decided to vote for hate over the rest of the country and your own good. You cut off your nose to spite your face. So Nebraska, we don't care. God helps those who help themselves, and you decided you didn't want help.
Hey guys, welcome back to my space. And if you're new here, please subscribe. Okay, the elections have all been over, and the consequences of these votes have begun. Across towns and communities in Nebraska, voters are now confronting the real-world consequences of their political choices. They believed the political choices that they believed would protect them, but the choices they made is reshaping their daily lives in a painful and unexpected way. And what's making it more painful is that they didn't foresee these things happening. You know, Black Americans warned them repeatedly about the impact of their decisions, but as usual, no one listens to them. Now let's watch some TikTok reactions and I'll be right back.
I have a question for the rest of America. Does anyone even care about Nebraska? Does anyone even care?
Do you care about Nebraska? Because I have a feeling you voted for this. I mean, Nebraskans don't even care about Nebraska. Let me ask you another question. Who exactly did you think were going to work in the fields and in the farms after all of the regular day laborers, people of color, are no longer there anymore? Who did you think was going to do it? Did you think that there was just this army of white workers ready to get into those farms and pick all the vegetables? Now people like you who voted for this to happen are upset that something's affecting you, because what people like you tend to really vote for, it's not the economy. It's because you want to express racism and bigotry, and he was the only way that you could do that. But now it's affecting you. All those farms are disappearing, including that 300-year-old farm. And you want to know why nobody's upset at that? It's because you guys did it to yourself. You'd rather vote to have your racism easily spread across the United States instead of thinking about yourself, because you always vote against your own interests, don't you? And isn't it just like you? You voted to hurt other people, but now when it's starting to hurt you, you want us to feel sympathetic for you.
Those anticipated cuts to Medicaid already leaving an impact on rural hospitals in our state. The Nebraska Hospital Association announcing that the Curtis Medical Center in the McCook area will be shutting down after 30 years. The president and CEO of the hospital says the current financial environment, driven by anticipated budget cuts to Medicaid, has made it impossible to continue operating all of their services. The NHA says it will support members of the hospital through this transition.
How do you kill a town? You don't bulldoze it, you close its only medical center. That's exactly what just happened in Curtis, Nebraska. Curtis has less than 1,000 people. And for over 30 years, they had a place to go when they got sick. They went to the Curtis Medical Center. And now it's closed or closing. And not because people stopped needing health care. The hospital says it's inflation, Medicaid cuts, and also that uncertain federal funding. Yeah, that means they just can't afford to keep their doors open. Translation: the math wasn't mathing for them, so they're going to shut it down. Now, we talk about healthcare access in this country like it's a right. But only if you live in the right zip code and it's got the right amount of people in it. Otherwise, you're on your own. 30 years of care is gone for this community, all because of money games. Because if they can shut down a clinic there, they can shut one down anywhere.
Nebraska is probably really pissed that they voted for Trump now, huh? Because everybody that's like, no, Medicaid's not going to close clinics and Medicaid's not going to close hospitals. Ask Nebraska how one of their clinics is now being closed. Why, you might ask? Because of Medicaid cuts. Because of Medicaid cuts. And that's just the first to downfall publicly. Imagine all the small ones that's going to close without the public knowing. And yes, my face is greasy because I got on sunblock because I'm about to get outside. But listen, I'm trying to tell you, it is about to get real ugly in America. Y'all just wait and see all you nurses and CNAs and LPNs and doctors. Yeah, you might want to go look for a new job because you're about to get terminated. Thanks to Trump. Go thank your president.
Maybe y'all saw the news out of Nebraska today. Apparently our entire state is going to go bankrupt in 2 quarters. Me and my husband owned a cattle ranch here, and I can confirm that all of the cattle ranchers here overwhelmingly voted for Trump. We support him. We voted for him. Something like 70% of our entire workforce is undocumented immigrants, and they straight up are not showing up for work anymore. They have all either fled the country, fled the state. They don't want to get raided while at work, so they have just moved on to work somewhere else. And straight up, we are going to go bankrupt now. We are going to go bankrupt. And yeah, we voted. We knew that the immigrants would get deported, and he was coming after immigrants. Yet we still voted for it. Overwhelmingly voted for our own demise. I was talking to my husband last night, and I have to admit that it seems a bit foolish now when you think about it like that we voted for something that is now putting us directly out of business.
So the other day I heard that in Nebraska, farmers are about to lose their farms because they voted for Trump. If they only had someone to let them know that voting for him was going to be so disastrous. Oh no, wait, they did. But I guess the only thing left to do now is to sing about it. There was a farmer had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. He was racist and he voted for Trump, E-I-E-I-O. with a racist here and a racist there, here, there, everywhere there's ICE raids. There was a farmer had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Keyword here is had.
So Trump supporters, if you're not worried now about the economy, now is the time to be worried. Nebraska, Tyson Foods. They're the largest meat producer in the country. They're closing their Nebraska beef processing plant because of Trump economics. Cattle costs have risen $2 billion because of Trump's tariffs, and it has resulted in a net loss of $425 million in 2025 to date for Tyson Foods. So they're closing their meat packing plant, and 3,200 employees in this small town with only 11,000 residents are losing their jobs. 3,200 employees, and I can guarantee a vast majority voted for this. And it doesn't end there. Tyson is taking their 3-shift slaughter operation in Texas down to 1 shift. So a lot more people at their Texas facility are going to be let go. When you talk about big industries now being affected, not the small guy, but those at the top of the food chain being impacted and closing down, we are in a world of economic hurt. And this is just the beginning, because this Trump administration is not focused on fixing the problem. They keep creating more. And I got to tell you, just this Tyson food location in Nevada, there are so many suppliers, so many vendors, contractors every single day that did work for this Tyson facility, whether inside the building or outside the building. These are big contracts that these local businesses are now going to lose. So they're going to be affected as well. Expect more layoffs and bankruptcies downstream of Tyson Foods.
Have you heard about Lexington, Nebraska? Yeah, it's been popping up in the news recently because they're closing a Tyson beef plant. It employs 3,200 workers in a town of no more than about 12,000. So this plant closing is basically going to wipe out the entire town. And one point that's very interesting is if you look at the election results of Dawson County, where Lexington, Nebraska is, they voted 75% for Donald Trump. And wasn't this the man that claimed America first, that when he put tariffs on other countries, Americans would gladly and proudly pay the higher prices and industries would come back and we would have everything here we needed. We wouldn't need another country. Well, that didn't happen. He took off the tariffs again and now prices are going down in other countries. We gave $40 billion to Argentina so that they could sell their beef and their soy and run our cattle ranchers out of the market. So now, on top of, yes, cattle herds dwindling, someone in the comments will come and say that, but this beef factory that voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump is now falling victim to his policies, to his failed tariffs, to his failed American first policies. This is going to be a sad story, but it's an FAFO because these people voted overwhelmingly to shut down this beef factory by voting 75% in this county for Donald Trump. Nebraska is going bankrupt as a state, and this county is going under as the beef factory is set to close and wipe out an entire town.
Y'all, check out this video of a MAGA Republican member of Congress just completely crashing out when confronted by his constituents about his vote to cut Medicaid. Check it out.
And you are able-bodied, you have to work. If you choose not to work, you do not get free health care. You do not get free health care.
And here's the thing, right? All we're asking for is please use our tax dollars to fund things like healthcare, things that actually help people instead of, I don't know, funding ICE and funding weapons of war. Please use our taxes to help people. That is all we're asking for.
During the elections, many voters believed that their votes would shield them from hardship, despite all the warnings received. But instead, they are feeling the impact firsthand now. Policies have begun to move from promises to implementations. Budgets have been adjusted. We all know that, yeah. Regulations were rolled back and funding priorities have been shifted. All of these have left a strain on rural hospitals and clinics, public schools. There's increased financial strains on farmers, retirees, and low-wage workers. These outcomes did not distinguish from different political parties. This hardship applies to everyone. Now we see that most voters are outraged, some even in tears about the betrayal. The truth is that Nebraska isn't alone in this. It's everyone. It's happening everywhere, and the hardship is hitting really hard. Anyways, thank you guys for watching today's video, and credits to all the original content I've used on this channel today. Thank you for staying with me till the end, and have an amazing day. Cheers.